But I had it in my heart, God just laid it in my heart. And it's funny because when that happened, I talked to some friends, but I knew what was going to happen. Whenever God leads you to study a book, God makes sure that you know you have to live that book. And undoubtedly, we've lived out the book of Job. And I didn't know how profound it was. During this time, we went through some things, haven't we? Yes. During the time of studying through the book of Job, we've learned some things and we've experienced some things. There's been some times when Priscilla had to go to the hospital. We knew that God was setting us up. He had prepared us in advance, and He continued to speak to us through pain. We know that some others have suffered. Pamela mentioned the fact that she lost a couple of co-workers during this time. Wanda and I, we've lost family members during this time. We've had to go to funerals, and still yet we're preparing for another funeral during this time. We knew that the book of Job was a book that dealt with people who are bereaved and grieving, and we know that it had answers. And we went through that. All of us have went through some times in our life. Through the book of Job, we've had confusion, and we've sought Him, God, for answers because there's been some questions, and we've wrestled with some deep things and some seemingly problematic things of the faith. This has been a tremendous book. We're at a significant point in our study through the book of Job. We're at the end of Elihu's comments. Now, some people call him Elihu or Elihu, and he is a young man. Remember, of course, Job was a man who served God. And he served God. He had a righteous family. He always did what was right, it seems to be. God commented and complimented him on his Christian character. However, Job went through a trial of affliction. We know, of course, we understand there were some things that happened in heaven. And then there was that great trial of affliction. And then after that, Job, after the battle, he, of course, went to the ash heap. And there he sat. And the Bible says that his friends joined him, right? Three specific friends came at first, or at least spoke at first. And we saw that they spoke to him time after time. We saw that there was at least 9 different conversations between Job and his friends, as they all tried to tell him, and they probably tried with their feeble brains to comfort him, but it seems as if they were more trying to torment him, because they had this fixation on the fact that good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. So Job, you must have sinned. Last, and certainly not least, Job, he concluded his conversations after his friend concluded their conversations, and then this man Elihu, this young man who was in the crowd, he stood up. And Elihu began to speak to Job, and he, at first he started telling everyone that he was angry. He was angry at Job, and he was angry at his friends. Because he was angry at Job because he didn't feel as if Job represented God